Well, hello, hello, hello. What's up and welcome. It's the Mo Radio Show. It is, it's coronavirus Mo Radio Show is what it is. And we haven't really spent a lot of time talking about the coronavirus because, well, I think it's to the point of nauseum. I've been trying to do, I guess, business spotlights and talk some sports and things like that. As far as sports goes, they're talking that things are going to be opening up here shortly, and hopefully we will have draft, which I on Wednesday, I believe, with my dude Jordan. I think we'll be talking about that today. Though I want to, I came up with this idea the other day. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the coronavirus. I'm thinking that it's still quarantine. All this crap is going on, and I'm not trying to scare people because, quite frankly, what the hell do I know? I don't know anything. You don't know anything. Nobody knows anything about what's going to happen. But I think there is a lot of scary things out there. There's a lot of scary things that me living in this world like you're living in. I'm scared, man. I'm worried. I don't know, what the future holds, what is going to happen. So I'm at home and I'm like, all right, what's a good podcast that I could do? And it kind of popped in my mind. What about having a psychic on? What about having Greg Stanley on? Psychic Greg Stanley. I've had him on the show for years. I had him back in my radio days at Q92 when I was doing afternoons. I had him on. I thought it was brilliant. Like it was radio gold is what it was. And one thing that I think that I realized is I'm not as skeptical as I used to be about psychics. It was funny. I was just having a conversation as I left the house to come here and do this with my son. And it was kind of funny because I was talking to my girlfriend and, my son's sitting there and it dawned on me, it was Greg who initially said back in the day that I was going to have a child. And anybody who knew me from my radio days, there was no way. I was never going to have a kid. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't on my agenda at all, And one day Greg comes in and we have him on and he goes, Mo, I see a child in your future. And everybody laughed about it, like, no way, a child and everything else. Well, it turns out, I got involved with a girl who had a child who was very, very young and he's 5 years old now. and I've raised him with the help of others, obviously, but I've raised him and he's my boy. So it was kind of funny as I'm leaving the house and I'm like, well, I'm going to have Greg Stanley on. So, there's always the skeptical person in me that finds it hard to believe this stuff because it defies logic. And I've always tried to be a logical person, but I've seen Greg enough to know, and I've seen him in action enough to know that the dude knows what he's talking about. So it was just a thought that I had. I said, well, let's have Greg Stanley on. Because there's so many unanswered questions out there. I don't think anybody really knows what the hell's going on. Nobody knows what's going to happen after this. I think a lot of people think that, all right, well, all right, the virus is going to be gone and we'll all be fine. And, economically, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of problems. And this is not just going to go away, even if we are allowed back out. Brandy already writing in, knowing he saw that for you, does it worry you what he might say tonight? No, you know what? Listen, this is why I love Greg. He's already here. I got him on. Hey, Barry, look at that guy.
Hi. How are you guys? Hey, Mo.
There he is. Hey, there you are. What's up, buddy? How are you, man?
We're doing great, man. How are you, Mo?
I'll tell you what. If there's one place to be quarantined, I would have to say Hawaii is the place.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
there
nice.
you are sitting in Hawaii right now. Wow, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just talking about you. You remember the time you came in and said I was going to have a child, and nobody believed
Yes.
me. Thought it was a joke. And here I am today. I'm taking pictures of my son, as he's wearing Hawaiian type stuff.
Yeah.
So Brandy writes in already. She goes, knowing that how legit you are, am I afraid or am I scared about what you're going to say tonight? And you know what? One thing I always loved about you is you've always said, I tell it like it is.
Yes.
That's what I do. That's who I am. And whether you like it or you don't, and I've seen you, quite frankly, be a dick to some people because they were lying to you. And you knew they were lying. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So very quickly, just kind of tell us your credentials, how people can, find you, talk to you, promote your website, and kind of things like that.
Yeah, you can find me two ways, psychicgregstanley.com, tarottimepsychic.com. Both go to the same website. So just type in psychicgregstanley.com, takes you straight to my website. You can Google me, Psychic Greg Stanley. My YouTube, Psychic Greg Stanley, Facebook, Psychic Greg Stanley, and Instagram, Psychic Greg Stanley. If you don't find me, you didn't look for me. I come right up.
So kind of, by the way, I think it's great. We were talking earlier and all the things that you have going on. Radio stations are getting a hold of you like crazy. So
they've been coming up like crazy.
So kind of like talking about your start. You're from Northeast Ohio. You kind of found out you had this gift. I believe your grandmother who also had this gift. Am I right?
Yeah, I started off in Canton, Ohio, and that's where my mom lives. And that's where I started. That was back in 2011, Easter Sunday.
All right.
Yeah.
So but I'm saying, when did you find out you had this gift? And
I see what you're saying. So I always had the gift, but I didn't know I could use it to start helping people until Easter Sunday 2011.
Okay.
And I decided to stop hiding it. And it was like coming out the closet a second time, because 3 years before that, I came out as a gay man. And I actually got more hell for being psychic than for being gay.
Well, of course. Well, that's hard to do, man.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in fact, 2011, you got to think more people are probably, more upset, I guess, or skeptical of being a psychic.
Definitely. And that's exactly what my mom was saying. She's like, my God. She's like, you telling me you're gay 3 years ago. Now you're telling me that you're psychic and you're reading tarot cards. Oh, my God. I don't know what I'm going to do.
All right, so I just got to text you. I'm having a rough time. Like, me coming through is not very good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, now I got to text you. I wasn't coming.
Can they hear me?
Oh yeah, everybody can hear you fine. Yeah.
Everyone can hear me fine. Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool set. I've been seeing the set. We got the whole it's down below. You got the tick going on.
Yeah,
it's looking professional.
That's pretty cool, man.
So you finally get the gift. Didn't you say your grandmother also had the gift?
Oh, sorry. It went away there. Sorry about that. My screen did something weird. Go ahead.
I'm saying, didn't you say your grandmother also had the gift too?
I'm sorry, I could not hear you.
I said, didn't you say your grandmother also had the gift as well?
My grandmother, she never told anybody. She didn't tell me until she died. She told me from the other side. Yeah, she told me from heaven.
So she told you from heaven that you also had this gift?
Yes, that she also had the gift, and she was too afraid to tell anybody. And she was afraid of what people would say. And she was really proud that I was fine, that I came out about my gifts, because she was unable to come out about hers.
Okay. So so it's almost like by proxy, you were able to almost justify what you were going to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, I literally did everything completely on my own. I had no help. Nobody in my family supported me. Nothing. Like, it was completely, I had to do everything, learn everything on my own, discover everything on my own, and that's what happened. But when I first started coming out about my abilities, my grandmother was unable to talk. She actually passed away the month after. And that's when she had told me afterwards that she had the gift. And she couldn't tell me, of course, when she was alive. But yeah, it was interesting. But I do believe I was born with it. and I believe what sparked it was when I drowned when I was a little kid.
Right. I remember you telling me that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were close to death right there.
I was dead. I was underwater. I was underwater for about 7.5, almost 8 minutes.
So, do you think that kind of that ordeal kind of they say that kind of an ordeal can bring something to the forefront?
It may be what actually awakened it,
Right.
because I had other experiences, but that one very, very vivid. That was one of my first psychic experiences. Like when I was outside of my body, I was floating above my body,
Wow.
and even people that had not seen me in years remember me telling them this.
Uh,
And I don't even remember telling them that, and they remember it. And they're like, Greg, you're in your 30s now, and I haven't seen you in forever. Stories.
right. That's the one thing that I try to explain, you and still how acceptable things. Whenever you've been consistent in things that I've asked you throughout the years, and you've been very consistent with that. So it's not.
Yeah,
That's one of the things that is legitimate about what you see. Sometimes you can't help being a skeptic, but it's just me by nature. Okay, how it is. But I
definitely.
forget about all the things. So let me ask you, right? This giving, it's is it terrifying times? Is it scary as hell? Because I can see like the time of right now where you probably know more about what's going to happen in the future. Is it scary to be scared? I mean, and is it almost where it's almost the fact that you don't know something, some of the things that are about to take place?
Well, it is a little. Oh yeah, of course. I'm just as human as you are, Mo. I'm just as human as the listeners. Um, I I am a bit concerned about a few things
Yeah,
that's going to happen after this, but it's also a lot of stuff that's kind of out of my control, and it's out of your control. And I mean, I see a lot of good that's going to come from this very unfortunate situation. And it's things are not going to be the same after this,
right.
for sure.
Now explain that. How are things going to change? What's going to happen? And I want to go
So,
more. When you say that right now, what do you mean?
okay, so what I see happening from the COVID virus is there's basically right now what's coming of it. It doesn't matter if you have more money than God or you don't got two nickels to rub together right now. Everybody's affected by this. Everybody. And what's happening is the big what I'm seeing, the big businesses, the really, really big businesses that have, been running on corruption and treating their people like crap and getting away with everything because they had the money. It didn't matter. Well, what's happening now is that everything's shut down. There's no money coming in.
Right.
So what's happening is they think that they're gonna, as soon as everything fires back up, they're just gonna go right back to business as usual. No, people are moving. People are leaving. People are going to companies that are saying, "Hey, we're going to allow this. We're going to give you this benefit, that benefit." The companies, or not the companies, but the cities like New York City, San Francisco, Los Angeles, even here in Honolulu, that charge skyrocket rents. People they couldn't even pay the rent to begin with before this happened. How the hell do you think they're going to pay for it now? How are they going to pay for that? How? Okay, so what are they going to do? Kick everybody out? No, they have to figure it out because what's going to happen? Yeah, they're either going to move, or if they kick people out, the people that could move in can't pay that rent anymore either. Everybody's on the same boat. Everyone's the same. So what are they going to do? Throw everybody out on the street where you're not supposed to be?
Right. Well, and that's what I'm
And
saying. You know what's going to happen, but obviously you don't know the solutions for it. But are you saying that that's what's going to happen? People are going to be
oh, I'm telling you, what's happening is the economy is actually going to explode big in places that are low cost living. The economy is going to explode there. The big cities that were getting away with everything, all the corruption, all that stuff, the people are leaving in flocks. They can't afford to live there. So the
right.
economy is going to explode in these smaller places that are treating people right. Things like that. And if these big cities don't figure it out, and they're not going to be able to figure this out in time, they're going to go down.
Okay, so it's like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to the stock market? What's going to happen to people in general? Like, there's going to be, like you're saying, there's some people that treat people right. There's some people who don't. If you happen to be living in a place where they're not treating you right, or they're going to kick you to the curb. They've got money. If you own a building complex or something, you've got money, so you can foreclose on one, and you've got 5 other businesses, and you're fine. So they'll be okay because they have the money. What's going to happen to them?
So with like middle class and lower class, whatever, all that stuff. So again, they're going where the economy is booming. There are people that are going to now leave their jobs that they hate, and they're working jobs that they like, even 2 jobs, 3 jobs that they enjoy, rather than working one where they're getting treated like crap. And that's why the big businesses are going to have problems, because people are leaving and going where they're being treated right. You don't have anybody to keep running your company, and you can't keep people there long enough to train to run your company, and they're not going to put up with the people that are have corrupt leadership to run their companies. It's going to collapse. So this is good for the other businesses that are treating their people right, starting off on the right foot. I'm going to give you an example.
Be beneficial to small business.
Oh, extremely. The small businesses and the medium businesses, and even other big businesses that do things right, are going to be fine. The ones that ran on corruption, they can't anymore. Nobody wants to work there anymore. It's all getting exposed. It stinks. It's rotting. It's collapsing. I'm going to give you an example. Do you remember when United Airlines was getting away with everything?
Right, yeah.
They drugged that guy off the plane. Everyone was on a power trip. I'm telling you what, I hated flying United because I, as a customer, was degraded all the time by the check-in, the flight attendants, the customer service, everything. And they were getting away with it. They didn't care. They're making all the money, all that stuff. Well, when all this crap started getting exposed, it plummeted.
I'm not sure.
And when it plummeted, what ended up happening was they had to quickly turn around, or they were going to go down. And what happened is all these other airlines that were also doing the same crap United was doing, they woke up. Oh, let's start treating people right. Let's make changes now. Let's bring those people our way. And then it became a competition, and now the airline prices went down. The customer service exploded everywhere, good, in a good way. And flying is amazing now. You're treated fairly, you're treated good, because all you have to do is go to the other airline, and a lot of them are the same price, all that stuff. United almost went under, but because they turned around literally within 1 year, and I fly all the airlines, okay, night and day difference. They treat me amazing. The flight attendants are happy. They were unhappy because they weren't getting treated right by the company either. It was a trickle-down effect.
Right.
If they didn't change, they were going to go down, and they almost did because all the other companies picked up. That's what's happening. Apply that scenario to every industry you could possibly think of. just like that. Because now,
I mean, I'll tell you
this
what.
is their one chance fancy. Don't let me down.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, it's not a grim picture that you're painting. Then, I mean, I think a lot of people are, including myself. I'm looking at the economics of it. And they're talking about right now. They're going to start opening up Ohio here in the next week or so, and you have to wear the face mask and everything else. And there's some people that are really against that, and they're like, people are still dying from this. This has been the best week so far, but people are still dying. Here where I live, believe it or not, I think we're 15 or 16 people in a nursing home that recently, had passed away because of this coronavirus. It's really worst areas for the nursing homes. So it's like, it's a pick your poison situation where people have to get back to work so we don't destroy the economy. But, by people going out there in the workforce, are we putting, life at risk? So I guess I got a bunch of questions about the COVID-19 for you.
Yep. You can't win for losing with this one right now.
Did you see this coming?
There was something, if you look back on my Facebook lives, so on my Psychic Greg Stanley fan page, there was something that consistently kept coming up to the month of, I believe it was leading up to the month of March. And this was coming. It was showing sudden change, temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. Worries about money. Don't be afraid to be resourceful. Ask for help. Things like that. There was something big coming. I didn't know if it was going to be a war. I didn't know if it was going to be like, a stock market crash, or there was going to be like an invasion or something like that. And it happened to be the COVID thing. I didn't know what it was, but I noticed even in my private clients, the same thing kept coming up for all of those months. The same exact thing. And people were like, well, wait, why would my company's doing so well? Why would it stop? What do you mean? And I'm like, I don't know. You're going to be okay though. But something is coming, something's stopping everything. I don't know what it is. It was consistently coming up with anybody. When this happened, it all made sense.
Now, does that drive you crazy? Like, I'm talking personally, like, something's coming. You don't know what it is. Now, you have a gift that you're feeling something nobody else is feeling. All right. So you're sitting here saying, is it war? Is it a stock market? Is it a natural disaster? So does that drive you to the point where you're like, I know something's coming. What do I do? Because you're human like that.
Yeah. The thing is, Mo, is I have to not let it drive me crazy, because I'll shut down.
Yeah.
Because remember what I said, I'm human, just like you. I have to process things. I experience anxiety, depression, sadness, happiness, bliss, love, devastation. I experience everything. I'm no better than you, I'm no different. So yeah, what I have to do is say, I don't know how this is all going to work out or how this is all going to play out, but this is what I'm seeing. And there's many times where I'm like, I hope I'm wrong.
Right.
I hope I'm wrong about this. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm seeing. And so, yeah, it can drive me nuts if I let it. But the thing is, I'm so used to it. Like, even when I was a little kid, even when the sun was out, I'd wake up in the morning, I'm like, there's a tornado that's going to come today. There's a tornado coming. And within 3 or 4 hours, there would be a tornado. And I remember that. I didn't know how, but I just knew it.
Right.
Well, I didn't let it drive me nuts. I went outside and played, rode my bike, and I would say it. And people are like, well, how do you know that? I just know. And
dude, I couldn't live like that. I wouldn't be like that, man. I'd be panic stricken. I know myself. Like, I'll be honest with you, I've gone through so many emotions this past month and a half. I mean, from this is all bullshit. It was initially like, all right, this is bullshit, whatever, to, oh my God, like, people are dying. And then you're saying people, I have a son and I have family members who have, immune deficiencies, to where I'm walking out of the house and I'm like, dude, get hell away from me. Like, don't even come near me or holding my breath, to now it almost seems like it's just life now. It's life. It just is what it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I know if I had these feelings that you had, I would be terrified. I would be absolutely terrified.
This is another good. So the good about like the economy is going to blow up big in other places, and then the big places that were like, oh, we're the shit. They're no longer going to be the shit anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the people that left San Francisco. Literally, you were allowed to crap in the streets.
Oh yeah.
You were allowed to take a dump in the street, and nobody ever did anything about it. Disgusting. Oh, you think that's going to fly now?
Yeah.
Nope. And people are tired of it. This is the powerful revelation that led to change. Not only that, but I know there's a lot of people that have died from this and are dying. I do know that. There's a lot of people that have recovered. There's a lot of people that lived and had minor symptoms, and people that had it and didn't even know what it was. I believe that I had it back in January because nobody knew what. Yeah, because I came back from Tahiti. I had all those symptoms. I went into Kaiser here in Hawaii when I landed back on island, and they stuck that thing up in that nose that pretty much freaking touches your brain. It's like, oh my God, and they said, oh no, you don't have the influenza virus, either one of them, it's probably just some other virus. But they didn't have the COVID testing at that time because that was back in January. I believe I had it at that time. And that was before, again, anyone knew anything about what was going on other than there was something going on in China.
Right. Wow.
It was still in China at that time. So
I've heard a lot of people say that they think they may have had it.
Yeah.
And it was before this, I guess, pandemic, before it actually officially came to the United States. There's a lot of people who have been saying that.
I'm looking forward to the antibody test coming out. I'm getting in line because I want to see if I have the antibodies because I believe that I had it. And if they can use my plasma, if they'll let a gay man use it, whatever. And that's a whole nother can of worms.
Dude, that's some BS. I think I did hear that they were going to stop that.
Oh, you want to hear what the new? Oh, well, get this.
Let me tell you how stupid I am, right? This is how just ignorant I am. I found that out a couple of years ago that they still would not use gay blood. Like they talk about how there's all this blood shortages or whatever, but if you're gay, they won't use your blood. I was shocked that that's still going on.
This is what's happening. Oh yeah, because the thing is, drug users, prostitutes, straight people. Oh, they can't have STDs. They're allowed to donate blood, but they test the blood to make sure nothing's going on. They would use the same test that they do with if you're gay. Who cares? Oh, they did open something up though. They said that now temporarily they're allowing homosexuals to donate blood only if you've been abstinent for 6 months from any sexual partners. How much harder can I laugh?
How do you prove that?
Yeah.
What do they do?
I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.
And the gay man does that make you just not want to get blood and kind of like F you? As sad as that is, but you feel like F you. Now you want to do it. Now you want it.
Yeah, exactly. But they're saying, oh, but you have to not have had sex for 6 months. Sorry, I don't qualify. And no straight person qualifies. Maybe 6 days. God, like there'll probably be 1 or 2 people that haven't had it in 6 days. Because you can't catch HIV unless you're gay. That's not true at all. People are pleasantly surprised when they realize, oh, crap.
Well, yeah. Greg, it has nothing to do with, catching AIDS or STDs. It's about everybody knows that if I get gay blood, I'm going to become gay. It's like a zombie.
Or you're going to get AIDS.
Right.
I'm telling you what.
That's what they will tell you.
I'm telling you what. I have been in relationships with partners who are HIV positive, undetectable, and I am still negative.
Really? See, well, that's a whole different.
Because it's actually safer to have sex with somebody who knows they're HIV positive and they're on medication where they're undetectable than to have sex with somebody who doesn't know. Because the undetectable, the chances of you get it are like slim to none. Whereas if you go with somebody who lies to you and or doesn't know, You're screwed because then it spreads like wildfire.
Right. It's funny you say that because I just recently heard a commercial, and I didn't know, but the other day where it said that there's a new drug or something where you could take. I may even be a lube. I don't remember exactly what it is, but
it's called Truvada.
Okay, and it basically makes you undetectable. I was kind of shocked to hear that.
So it's called Truvada. So there's drugs, HIV drugs, for those who are HIV positive that make you undetectable. You can live a normal life, everything, right. And it keeps the viral completely under control. It's not a death sentence anymore. Right. And there's a pill now for those who are HIV negative, like me. You could take the pill.
Have sex with Greg. He is HIV negative.
Everyone's like freaking out now. The pill, you take it.
I'm good.
You take it and it stops it. It prevents it greatly.
Oh wow! Well, there you are. All right, very good. There, hey, a little education. That's always
a little sex education for you, Mo.
I go, you can't take gay blood. What the hell's wrong with you? It's so stupid.
Exactly. Mo, I'm telling you what, I wouldn't care if you were gay, straight, whatever. If I needed blood, I was dying, I'd be like, give it to me. I need it. I'm dying over here. Who cares? I don't care where it's from.
I'm telling you, there are people that wouldn't. There are truly people that would not. I'm telling you, there are people that would not take gay blood and rather die. That's how psycho some people are out there. It's the truth too. But there are
a lot of people who've been given blood. A lot of people who've been given blood have gay blood in them because there's so many closet cases. There's more closet cases than there are gay men.
And you would know because you call them out when you're doing a psych.
Oh, you'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised.
That's so funny. All right, so let me ask you this: going back to COVID-19,
yep.
Is this something like a flu that's going to kind of morph every single year? Is this going to be in our vocabularies forever? And is this something we're going to have to deal with every single year?
This is something that we are going to have to deal with, maybe not every single year, but other pandemics. But it's going to be like this for a while. But the thing is stuff's going, I'm seeing waves as stuff will open and there'll be times where you suddenly have to close up, then reopen again. It's like a Venus flytrap. Open, shut, open, shut. I mean, it's going to be like.
Right.
And basically, you just do the best you can. Stay healthy. And you know what?
You said that you had the spirits when I was talking to you earlier today. The spirits were talking to you, and you had a lot of insight on this. I think a question, I don't know if you can answer. Listen, I'm just throwing questions out there, dude, because I think that these are, I think, again, as I kind of told you earlier, these are unprecedented times. Nobody knows what's going on. We've never lived through this. We've never had everything shut down. So can you tell us, or do you know, was this a naturally made virus or a man-made virus? I am under the, I guess, the mindset that this was biological, that it wasn't set free on purpose, but I believe it was made. I believe it was biological, and I believe it didn't escape. Do you have it? Do you know anything about that? Like, again, from what you,
I believe it was biological, and I'm going to tell you, Mother Earth allowed it to happen, and let me tell you why. Because if you look, wildlife's coming back out, the ozone layer's closing up. You can actually see LA now. It's the air is clear. The Earth is actually healing. And these last month, 2 months, endangered species are coming out in multiples and stuff now, just in the short amount of time. And it's because we just wanted more and more and more. And Mother Earth don't need us.
Right.
And you know what? This is a wake-up call. Because I'll tell you what, sanitation was next to nothing. This earth, public transportation was disgusting. Like I said, in San Francisco, you're allowed to shit in the streets. And all that stuff. Sanitation was nothing. Eventually, they didn't think this was going to happen, that something was going to creep out there. Look at the bacteria that is antibiotic resistant. Nobody listened to that and still carried on with everything. what was it going to take for us to wake up? It was going to be something. If it wasn't the freaking coronavirus, it was going to be something else.
Let me
I
ask
do
you,
believe it was biological.
so you believe it was man-made, but it was because of the way
Oh,
we live.
okay. No, I'm sorry. I meant like I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm thinking biology. I'm thinking of like the natural stuff. Okay, I'm so sorry.
It's all right. So you believe it was?
I
It was
had the things reversed. Yeah,
okay.
aim down,
Right.
flip it, and reverse it. Okay, I believe it was nature, like it was a virus, like it was natural, but
Right.
it wasn't stopped when it could have been stopped. And there have been other viruses that weren't stopped, that could have stopped over the years that we didn't even know about. Okay. And it's out there. You know, the thing is again, because there's no sanitation and nobody cared really, it was easily just multiplying and spread like wildfire.
Yeah. No, it
And
really did. I mean,
again,
people were
no
freaking out.
sanitation. Like there was no sanitation, and it's like, what did you think was going to happen? Like you think that it was going to stay like this forever? No, people got greedy, and this knocked everybody right on their butts.
So I've always found it very interesting. You're a psychic.
Yep.
You kind of told me about your belief of an afterlife, about Jesus, a heaven and a hell, and you've said there is no hell, there's just heaven. You know, and I don't really want to get into all that, but that's kind of what. And again, I have. I don't know. So to talk to somebody who's as confident as you are about things, and not only confident, but you say things that nobody else really says. You know, everybody says there's heaven. I've never heard anybody say, "Well, there's just heaven, there's no hell." You're the only person I've ever heard say that. So, do you believe then that this was a sign to say, "Hey, you better stay here"?
This was so okay. So heaven's a word. You can call it whatever you want. The afterlife, the other side. I call it many things.
Um,
I call it you call it pass on.
right?
You return back to the universe. Like that's you call it whatever you want. Heaven is real. You can call it. It's just a word. Okay. Hell actually meant going to the grave. Hell doesn't exist. It was meant to control the masses. If you don't do this, you'll go there.
Okay.
It was meant to control the masses. There's no hell.
All right.
There's no hell.
Oh, well, that's
I,
reassuring for me.
I would be willing. Look, if somebody wanted to freaking burn me at the stake right now, well, that's about all the pain I'm going to feel for a little while. Because when I get to the other side, I'm not saved. I grew up in the church. I
Right.
grew up. I was in a cult for about 4 or 5 years. I was saved, baptized, molested. You know, the whole 9 yards. You know, all that stuff. And I practiced what I preached. Everything. And I believed because I was brainwashed when I got out of it. I was asking questions. I was told to ask questions and got in trouble for asking questions.
Right. So,
Because
so what I'm asking is that was this a sign from a god to say, hey, you better like kind of thrown at
it's
us.
just,
All right, straighten up a little bit.
it's a sign from the universe. So we get back what we put out there in some form. So we've been trashing the earth all this time in some way, shape. That's our karma we put out there. It came back to us. It comes back to us in the form of disease, in the form of famine, and stuff like this. When we don't listen and we think that we're superior, we're not. The human race is not the only thing out there and the only superior thing out there. And the universe is reminding us Mother Nature can take it back anytime,
Yeah.
any moment. And
You know
right
what's
now, that was a pretty big jolt we just felt.
Yeah.
And
You know
if
what's funny,
we
Greg?
don't,
As I've
we
said
don't.
that though. Go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that all the earth wants us to do. The earth gives us everything that we need: food, medicine, shelter. All we have to do is take care of it. And instead, the big companies and corruption took over and created it to be trashed. And eventually, you think that you can overpower the earth? They thought they could. Boom. It's throwing it, vomit, regurgitate. The earth is going to regurgitate it right back in our faces, and that's what's happening right now.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because I said there's one thing that really showed us was how vulnerable we are as a people. You know, the fact that everything can be taken away, just like that in a second. And I think that we know, especially you would say in America, we're very arrogant. We walk around like our essence stink, and we're almost invisible. And I think the one thing this did show you in a multitude of different ways is how vulnerable you really are. You have no control. You're like me. I'm kind of a control freak, and that's why this really messed with me a little bit. But I think you're right. I never really thought about it through the Earth. But listen, we're all gone. It don't matter. The Earth's still going to be there, or nature's still going to be there.
That's right, and it will go right back to the way it was.
Right. So this really does show you how vulnerable you really are. So like a reality check almost is what it was.
This was just it's a big reality check, and it has nothing to do with religion. And it's like, okay, people think that psychic, it's all guesses, and no, I use my head and my heart. I believe, I tell people, if it makes any sense to you, I don't know. I say I'm 100% realistic. I'm 100% spiritual because they both work together. Both worlds, the non-physical and the physical, work together. And that's the power that I tune into. And that's how I get my information, because they're both working together. Always. Whether you believe it or you don't, it's there. And this is the other thing, is that people are afraid of death. People are afraid of things. When you keep people in fear, you can control them. Okay? So, without getting into I've heard every freaking conspiracy theory you can think of. And it's like, okay, it all goes down to fear. People, we are spirits borrowing a body that came from the earth. Our spirit might, like right here, think of a hermit crab shell. When the hermit crab leaves the shell, it's just a shell. Our spirits are in the body. This is the shell. When my spirit leaves this body will drop. There's nobody home. It's just a shell.
Right.
We are spiritual beings that will return right back to where we came from. Right back to where we came from. And and the reason why fear exists keeps us here. If we didn't care about our bodies, we didn't care about our loved ones, we didn't love, fear, it kind of keeps us here. But when you use it to control somebody, that's when it's bad. It's like a knife. When you use it to cut your vegetables or your meat, great. When you're using it to kill everybody, should everyone be afraid of knives? Well, a little bit. Be careful with them. They're freaking sharp.
Right.
Be careful. It's about keeping it yourself in check, keeping it in balance.
You know how my mind wanders. You've seen me on the air. I don't know if you don't have to give any names or anything with this. I just thought of a really crazy question.
Sure.
Have you ever done a reading on somebody who you knew committed a murder or a terrible crime?
Yes.
You have. And did they not come clean? Did you question them on it, or like did it freak you out? Or
some of them, one person did without answering yes.
Wow. I just, as you're talking about knives and whatever, I'm like, I wonder if that's ever happened. Again, to be able to see, it's like when people, they're transparent. You can see right through them.
And it's not like, okay, like there's a mass murderer on the scene and they're at my kitchen table. It's not like that. It was somebody who deserved it. It was somebody that was like, I'll give an example, like like an example of what it would be. It's like a woman that was being like constantly harassed, controlled by somebody, literally getting beat to a pulp.
Wow.
And
I
her
wonder
husband disappeared, and she ain't gonna tell where it is.
oh, wow, man. I can only imagine what it's like to be you sometimes. I mean, it's tough.
I'll tell you what.
People try to fool you, and they just can't.
I've seen. This is the thing. I'm a good person, and be nice. I'll be nice to you. Be nice to the earth. The earth's going to be nice to you. Be nice to life. Life's going to be nice to you. Set boundaries. Say no. Say hell no. If somebody is bothering you or you're not happy, that's what it's about, setting boundaries. Like it's not difficult, and people make it difficult because they have greed.
Oh, yeah.
They want to take
Right.
and take and take. And then there's people that get screwed over all the time because they give and give and give and give and give. Yeah, you're getting screwed over because all you're doing is giving. You are human and you have needs too. It's a balance. We need to give. We need to receive. We need to help. We need to be helped at times.
Right.
It's a balance. Yin yang.
So
Not hard.
No, I mean it isn't, but you know what? It isn't hard when you break it down, but it's just it goes against, I guess, human nature. It really does. You know, we're selfish nature. You know,
the ego. That's the human nature. The ego, and it's the thing that's always going to tell you live in fear. Don't try anything different. Don't go against the grain. Don't live your dreams. It wants to keep you low. When you overcome those fears, that's how you grow. It's like going to the gym. Okay, it's an air. There's no resistance. There's no growth. If you're lifting resistance, the ego, you're lifting. You're overcoming that. You become stronger. You build up. That's what fear, the ego, the human nature is. You overcome your human nature that always lies to you. Always lies to you. That's where it is.
So Brady writes in, she goes, is there going to be a vaccine for this COVID-19? Is it out there? Is it being developed now? Is it going to work?
I don't necessarily know if it's the COVID or bacterial form or whatever. I do know there've already, for years and years and years, there's been viruses and things out there that people have no idea what's causing certain people's deaths or sicknesses, things like that. It's already out there, and it's been out there way before the COVID. There's always going to be something. But I do know that, there's been countries that have tried to use biological weapons, and it stopped all the time. It stopped all the time.
Right. So why do you think that the whole country, I mean, we're not the country, the whole world shut down for this one? What was the reason for?
They had to.
Just basically, they had to do it.
They had to. Even North Korea has to, who's secluded and don't even know anything. They're probably blaming the Americans. You know what I mean?
Right.
The whole damn world got to chill out for a minute.
So do you think that this is going to turn out, as you kind of stated in the beginning, this is going to turn out to eventually, it's hard to see now, but turn out to be a positive, a good thing?
Yes. For those who are willing to swim, sink or swim, this is happening. If you don't take care of yourself and you don't start taking care of the earth, you don't care about everybody else. Bye. What's happening. This is the reality. It is sink or swim. There's no gray area with this. And that's what I see.
The question in everybody's mind is, right? This is the most important question when you're talking about COVID-19. Okay. The most important question to everybody: is there going to be a football season? is there going to be a football season? Right.
I feel like there will be, but it's going to be very weird. It's almost going to be like, what's the point?
Like, what do you mean? Like nobody's going to be allowed in the stands, or?
Not, some people will be, but it's like not even football. It's like, what's the point? It's like throwing a big party that's meant for thousands of people and 10 people show up.
So you think it's going to be like that? People are going to be paranoid to go out?
it's gonna be there'll be a season, but it will be very like it'll be random all over the place. Like it might only be a couple months. Oh, and then it shuts down. Then a week here. Then it shuts down for 3 weeks. And then it's open for a month. And then it shuts down. It's going to be all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't see football not mattering. I'll be honest with you. I think that's all everybody wants right now.
They're going to try to go back to some. I mean, they're going to try and they'll be able to do some. It depends what you call like return to normalcy. This is changing everything forever.
I think you said that at the beginning, where it's never going to be the same again.
But it's not doom and gloom. What it is, it's a big change. This had to happen. This world was spinning out of control. This world was spinning out of control.
It seems like you keep going back to that thought where basically this was put out there to keep us in check. That's basically what this was. Really? So where does it come from then? Like I'm confused sometimes because you are spiritual, like you said, but you're also you're real, whatever. So was it just fluke that this happened, or was this put out by some entity, like a god or whatever? Like I guess that's what I'm asking. You keep going back to the fact that this was put out there to say, hey, listen, you might think you're the shit, but you ain't.
The universe put it out there. Whether you call that God, whether you call that the gods, whether you call it just is whatever it is. Yes, it's karma. What we put out is going to come back.
I hate talking to you sometimes because I don't believe in karma. I don't believe any of this. But sometimes
let me tell you. I have seen several people, even in my work. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is an interesting one. I had a client that was coming to me, had an ex-wife, literally like the ex-wife, like evil. And she literally told him, I am going to ruin and destroy your life till the day I die. And she did. And I'm telling you what, a couple months back, like literally this woman was evil. I had done a reading and he's like, is there any chance of me winning and being able to stop her in any way, shape, or form? Is anything going to happen or whatever? Well, this was back in October. And I did a reading and I said, there's something that's going to happen in January, end of January, beginning of February, right around that time. And after all these years, something's going to change and she's not going to be able to do it. Either she's going to die or she's going to get a big wake-up call that's going to stop everything. I got a phone call the exact time frame that I predicted. She died.
Yeah, isn't that the law of averages, though? Good things happen.
Healthy woman just died.
But isn't that the law of averages?
It was the evil she put out there, and it came back to her.
See, I always think that's the law of averages. Good things happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people. Bad things happen to good people. Listen, I'm a pretty good guy. And you could read me. You've read me. You've been in a room with me. You know I'm a pretty good guy, right?
Yes.
My life sucks, Craig, okay? So you tell me why my life sucks so bad, okay? Because, if karma is supposed to be karma and I'm a good dude, I should be living a far better life than I am right now.
Some of it is past life as well. Past life memories do affect the next life.
So therefore, my past life, I was Ted Bundy, apparently.
What was that?
I said my past life, I was Ted Bundy, apparently. There you go. Now I know I was moving.
Oh my God.
It must be. I don't. So we get damned in this life for our past life.
Depending if you learned your lesson or not.
Well, good. Apparently, I didn't.
I remember a lot of my past lives. I get flashbacks all the time.
Do you really?
This one, even though it's been very challenging for me, I had really crazy past lives.
I think you told me what my past life was one time. I can't recall what it was.
You want a past life reading? I didn't know if that's what you wanted on this show or not, but
Well, I think you said I was some sort of like a warrior or some crap. I think is what you told me in a past life. I was something like that. I thought
I
that's what
see
you said.
war. I see a lot of war with you. War.
There's a war in my head for sure. Absolutely.
In your
So,
head.
all the time, man, all the time. That's crazy though. That you're still kind of living through it. I guess paying your dues for what you did in a past life, kind of thing. Because that's another thing that's really interesting about you, man. Is everything that you say, like you believe in the heaven, you believe in everything else, but everything you believe is against what you taught, which is really interesting.
Oh no, actually, it's not at all. I'll explain with that. With the karma thing, okay, if you learn what you're supposed to learn, it's over. It's done. It's
Right.
when you refuse to change, you keep going through the same lessons until, oh, I figured this out.
Right.
And you, Mo, you have changed.
Yeah. Well,
You've changed a lot. Look, you have a kid now. You never thought in a million years you couldn't stand kids.
Right. No, I like kids. I don't like other people's kids. I like my nieces and nephews. It's like that now. I hate everybody else's kids, but I love my kids.
Okay, so look, this was somebody else's kid, and he's your son now.
Right. Well, no, true story.
And you know what's funny?
So,
He looks just like you, even though he's not biologically yours. He looks like you.
well, my girl had a taste. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting, man. I could always talk to you for hours about things because it's so. I'm so torn when I talk to you because it's me trying to be a logical person. It defies logic sometimes with what you say, but you know the fact that there's no. I've been kind of arguing with COVID-19 because people are damning other people's kind of hypothesis where this came from. You know, some people it was bad in Wuhan. It was created by a scientist. People are damning other people. People are
It's getting real muffled.
Oh, I don't think it's right to damn anybody for their beliefs as to where this came from because we've never been there. So, you know, what you're saying is it makes perfect sense as well, where this was set out to keep us in check.
Something has to stop when there's a revelation that leads to change. When there's something that happens, a lot of times, even people like they'll have a near-death experience, and that's what changes them. They're like, I can't live my life this way anymore, you know.
Right.
And it's something that comes along, a challenge that comes their way that stops them and makes you refocus. And families came back together, and also because you have to be together, also people are realizing, hey, if they're not happy in their marriage, they're stuck with that person at home right now, and they can't wait till this thing lifts so they can get divorced. And they want to be happy. This is what they needed to see for themselves, that this is what they needed to make this change.
Right. That's so true, man. I got it. Brandy writes in. She goes, Mo, do you honestly don't think that COVID-19 taught you anything about yourself? You know what? It's an interesting question, but no.
Taught me a lot about myself.
Did it? It did teach me.
Absolutely.
You know what? If anything, it showed me, but I already kind of knew it about how vulnerable you are. But it didn't. What's going to teach me about myself? You acclimate. You do what you got to do. I don't think it's really taught.
You're used to the luxury of being able to go to work, you know, do the bartending or go work somewhere, do something, be able to go to the grocery store, go have a beer, go hang with the guys, all these freedoms. And all of a sudden, nope.
You know what's funny about me, Greg? Though you say that, and people always laughed at me. Like, I can use radio as an example of this, where I did nights, you know, and I would do nights, and I would party all night, wake up at 3 p.m, you know, and do an afternoon thing, party or work at 1. People are like, you could never handle doing mornings. You couldn't handle doing mornings. You acclimate. I just didn't go out anymore. Or I didn't go out that late. You adapt. So even in this situation, quite honestly, I've just adapted. It is what it is. I've adapted to a million different jobs. I've done radio. I've done physical labor. I've done, you know, I just adapt. That's who I am. So again, as far as just really teach me about myself, I think this makes me sound like an asshole. It probably does, but nothing. It's like, all right, it is what it is right now, and you have to deal with it.
Right now, you got to connect with your family. You got to connect with your son. You see more because you're out and about. And I'm not saying you're not a good parent. What I'm saying is you get to be with them all the time right now. You get to be with your girl all the time right now. And it's like, wow, like the love, if you're truly happy with your family, that's what you're going to take with you to the other side when you go. Not the materialism and all the stuff. You can't take it with you to the other side. You could take the memories. You could take the love. Right. You could take the connections with you to the other side. Your money's going to stay here. Your house is going to stay here. Your clothes are going to stay here. The Mo radio show is going to stay here. You're not taking it with you to the other side.
You know, people want a guy like me in heaven. Come on. I'll entertain them bastards up
there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you ain't going to be happy. What I'm saying is you can't take all this other stuff that maybe got in the way or maybe became too much of a priority. It's like, you know what? What about myself? What about my family? What about all this other stuff, you know? And this really made us stop. And for me, one of the good things that came from this is because people are concerned, people are opening up. They want to know, wow, I thought everything was great. I thought I had everything under control. And they're scared. There's people that have, you know, fork never missed their mouth. You know, they've been spoiled their whole lives and they have zero income coming in right now. Zero. Nothing. Well, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't get my way for once in my life. What am I going to do, Greg? I'm telling you, I have rich people calling me. I have poor people calling me. I have middle class calling me, whatever. We've always all been one, but people are like, wow. When there's no money or when the world stops, who am I? I'm scared.
You're one of the businesses that is flourishing because of the COVID-19. People have got to be getting a hold of you like crazy.
Oh, yeah. The pizza business, the psychic business is booming right now. The grocery store business is booming and everything.
Online sex models, of course, those are doing fantastic as well.
You know, that's a whole nother story. A lot of sex workers aren't getting paid right now. They're not qualified.
Well, online, I'm saying.
Even though they pay taxes.
Those online sex rooms, I'm sure, are doing pretty well. People are tuning into that like crazy, I got to assume.
Oh, my God. Yeah, the people who are doing it under the table.
All right, Craig. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming on.
Sure.
I'm honest with you don't really paint a doom and gloom, terrible scenario out of all this. We're going to make it through. We're going to be all right, is what you're saying. So
those who are not meant to be here anymore, whether it's the COVID or something else that takes them, if they're not meant to make it, they're going to go to the other side. And we're going to move on. And we're going to move forward.
Right.
And life is changing. And you know what? It doesn't always stay the same. Take care of yourselves.
Right.
What matters to you?
So how can, again, people get a hold of you? Obviously, like you said, people want a reading right now. They want to know what's going on. That's why I wanted to have you on. Again, this is somewhat, I guess, an optimistic outlook.
Absolutely.
To, you know, what's going to happen. So, I mean, I'll be honest, I was worried, man. I was worried about what was going to happen. So I'm glad I had you on. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, psychicgregstanley.com, tarottimepsychic.com. It all goes to the same thing. Google me, Psychic Greg Stanley. Subscribe, YouTube, Psychic Greg Stanley. Just click subscribe. Get a hold of me that way. My phone number is everywhere. You can text or call for an appointment. We'll get you in as soon as possible. Just leave a voicemail. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Usually about within 24 hours, we'll get back with you. But you can text too. So
you do it. You can do it on the phone, but like, do people do it like via Zoom and things like that?
Phone, FaceTime, Skype. I can't do in person right now. I'm not allowed. It's a $5,000 fine. I'll go to jail.
Yeah, there you go.
They're gonna make me face the wall if I go in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And on second thought, come on over. No. Anyways, like, there you go.
Greg, you're always great, man. I took over an hour. I've had you on. It seems like 10 minutes, man. I love having you on all the time, and I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Good luck with everything, my friend. You've always been great, dude. All right.
You too. Thanks, Mo, for having me on. Love and light.
Yeah, enjoy your time in Hawaii.
Thank you.
See, if I'm a state, Karma, I should be allowed in Hawaii. I should be right there next to you somehow, some way, living in Hawaii.
Well,
right now.
You can try to come right now, but you'll be arrested.
Yeah. Were they arrested? Are people getting arrested for that right now?
Yep.
They are.
If you come in and you aren't a resident, they will arrest you. You're not supposed to be here. They'll be like, why the hell are you here?
Wow. All right, Greg. Appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you later.
See you later. Thanks.
All right. Greg Stanley. Love Greg Stanley. Mo Radio Show. If there were some audio problems or whatever, I apologize. I was trying to get everything going, but I think there may have been. I know a bunch of people were watching. Embrace the change. Mo the asshole kind of has a ring to it. People were typing in, and I'll be posting this on Facebook or on YouTube as well, so you can check it out. I'm going to try to do these quite often. I'm going to try to do another one Wednesday talking about the Browns draft. Greg did say there was going to be a football season. To be different, it was going to be interesting, but there was going to be a football season. So that's good. That's good. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. TheMoRadioShow@gmail.com if you want to get a hold of me. And be safe. And I am out.